Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching my videos. It means a lot. And I'd like to wish you a very happy new year and hope 2020 will be the year that you crack Net-Jrf. We are here to discuss an important topic of teaching aptitude, levels of teaching. This is extremely important for paper 1 and paper 2. So watch till the end and let's start. So before we move ahead with the levels of teaching, here is a brief definition of what teaching is. It is a skillful application of knowledge, experience, and scientific principles with an objective to set up an environment to facilitate learning. So, teaching takes place at 3 levels. What are they? Number 1 is memory level. Memory level of teaching, or MLT, it is a thoughtless teaching, which means the thinking required at this level is very less. Second is understanding level of teaching, or ULT, thoughtful teaching, which implies the amount of thinking required is to a certain degree. And the last level of teaching is reflective level, or RLT, upper thoughtful teaching. It means it requires the highest level of thinking. Given here are 3 names. Who are they? They are the main proponents of their respective levels of teaching. For MLT, or memory level, we have Herbart. For ULT, or understanding level, we have Morrison. For RLT, or reflective level, we have Hunt. So do not forget these names. Let's begin with memory level of teaching. Out of the 3 levels, this is the first level of teaching, and it is concerned with memory. It is a mental ability that exists in all beings. That is, it doesn't require any special talent or skill to have memory. It is common to all of us. And it is considered to be the lowest level of teaching. Why? Because it is thoughtless teaching. It doesn't require high mental cognitive functions. Okay, now let us look at some key points of MLT. Number 1 is no role of thinking ability. That means thinking is non-existent here. It is unnecessary. No thinking required. Only cramming of facts, information, laws, formulas, etc. is encouraged. That means you have to cram everything that has been taught to you by the teacher. And when it comes to MLT, rote memorization is key. You have to learn everything by rote. And the role of teacher is active. The role of student is passive. The study material is organized and pre-planned by the teacher, and it will be presented to you in a sequential manner. And MLT lacks insight. That means it lacks deep understanding of a concept, of an idea, etc. Now, let us look at the merits and demerits of MLT. Number 1 is it is useful for children at lower classes. Why? Because their intellectual abilities are underdeveloped, and for them, rote learning is absolutely essential. It is a requirement. And second is teacher is free to make choices of subject matter because the teacher occupies a primary place here. He is a dominant figure at the memory level of teaching. Third is knowledge acquired forms basis for the future, which means whatever knowledge acquired at this level of teaching, it forms the foundation. It lays the foundation for the student's future learning. When he reaches a stage where the learning demands intellectual capabilities from him, that is when the importance of memory comes into play. Last is prerequisite for ULT, understanding level of teaching. In order to reach ULT, you have to have passed the memory level of teaching. It is important. Demerits. It doesn't contribute to the development of students' capabilities. It is not helpful in real life situations. That means it has no practical applications in real life. And too much emphasis is given on cramming and rote memorization. Intelligence is of no importance and there is no motivation whatsoever. Understanding level of teaching. So the teaching here is of a higher standard than that of MLT, and it is more useful and more thoughtful from the point of view of mental capabilities. That means it will demand a more higher cognitive function of your brain. And here the teacher will explain relationship between principles and facts in its application. So he will not give you notes to mug up. Instead, he will explain the concepts and the principles and the facts for you to understand. And MLT is essential for ULT. Here are some key points of understanding level of teaching. So the student has complete control over the subject matter instead of the teacher. And no cramming is encouraged, which is good. And understanding level of teaching is nothing but memory plus insight. The role of teacher is active, the role of student is active, and intellectual behavior is required. And it is assimilation of facts. Assimilation means absorbing an idea and understanding it deeply. What are the merits of understanding level of teaching? Number one is it makes use of thinking abilities. So unlike that of MLT, where making use of your memory power is more important, here being able to think and using your thinking power, it becomes way more important. Second is new knowledge acquired is related to previous knowledge. That means whatever is being taught to you right now, you should be able to link it with your previous knowledge. You should be able to find a connection. In order for that to take place, thinking is required, right? No rote learning, and learning by understanding and practicality is absolutely essential. And ULT is prerequisite for RLT. Now let us look at the demerit. Student is dependent on the teacher's knowledge and skills to make them understand a concept, which means if a teacher himself has not fully grasped the concept, or he is not fully educated on a certain topic and he proceeds to teach the students, then it might mislead them. It might lead to misunderstanding or misinformation. Reflective level of teaching. It is also known as introspective level of teaching. Introspection means analyzing your own thoughts, studying your own thoughts, okay? Reflecting means thinking deeply about something. And reflective level of teaching is the highest level of teaching there is. Student can attain this level after going through MLT and ULT. Now let us look at some key points of RLT. It is highly thoughtful and highly useful. It is a problem-centric approach, which means the teacher will throw some problems at you and your job is to identify the problem, define it, and solve it by reasoning, logic, and creativity. Since RLT allows you to use your thinking power to the maximum, it enables the students to solve real-life problems. It enables you to solve any problems that you face in real life. The role of student is very active, and that of the teacher is quite democratic, which means the teacher doesn't force anything on you. You have the freedom to make decisions on your own. Creativity and originality are encouraged, and the environment of the classroom is quite open and independent. The merits of reflective level of teaching. It is highly learner-centered. That means the student occupies a central position in the teaching learning process. And there is high interaction between the teacher and the students. And it is appropriate for higher classes. And the learners are highly motivated. The demerits are, it is suitable for mentally matured students. And the subject matter is not organized or planned. That means it lacks system, it lacks organization in knowledge. The subject matter taught at this level is quite spontaneous. Identify those features of learner behavior which are associated with understanding level teaching. The student renders facts and information in his or her own words. Render means give, provide. So this is understanding level of teaching. The student immediately recalls. So this is memory level teaching. The student gives his or her own examples in order to explain a point. So this is clearly understanding level of teaching. The student interprets the meaning in various ways. So this is understanding level of teaching. The student correctly reproduces the sequence taught. Reproduces. So this is memory. A, C, D. Option number 4 is the correct answer. So let us match set 1 with set 2, underlying purpose with the corresponding level of teaching. The main objective is to know the subject in depth and developing insight leading to clarity of structures. This will be understanding level. The main emphasis is on orderly presentation of thoughts leading to their longer retention. This will be memory. And the basic purpose is to engage students in clear, coherent and critical thinking leading to patterns of thought. This will be reflective level. The purpose is to promote self-feelings leading to a sense of freedom. Autonomous development level. So our correct answer is number 4. A teacher gives lot of positive and negative examples to support his or her presentations in the classroom. This will be related to which level of teaching? So this is an application question which is extremely important in the NET exam, so pay attention, okay? Here the teacher is trying to explain a point by giving examples, right? So what is he doing? He's basically giving explanations to clear a concept, right? So what is that? That comes under understanding level of teaching. So this is very easy. So the answer is number 3. This is match the following. So memory, cognitive processes involved in recalling. This is very easy. Understanding, learning by generalization and discrimination. Reflective, forming and testing the hypothesis for meaningful solution of the problem. Blended is use of various methodologies concurrently. Our correct key would be option 3. How is reflective level teaching different from understanding level teaching? On the basis of developing strong grip over facts and information in terms of raising the level of critical understanding and interaction, on the basis of command over the teaching learning materials in their use in terms of teacher-learner involvement. So as you know, reflective level is the highest amongst the 3 and it requires you to utilize your highest intellectual capabilities and cognitive mental functions. So it enables you to develop critical thinking and critical understanding of a subject or a concept. That means you're able to dive deeper into a problem and make judgments and criticize it, bring out its faults and merits. That is a part of reflective level teaching. So out of these 4, the correct option would be B, in terms of raising the level of critical understanding and interaction. So this is a feature of reflective level teaching because it talks about deep thinking. Which of the following is not a prescribed level of teaching? Memory, understanding, reflective, differentiation. So which one is not a level of teaching? The answer is very easy. It is D, differentiation. I'd like to address autonomous development level, which we have come across a couple of times. What is autonomy? It is the state of being self-governing, self-directing, which means independence, freedom. So what ADL, let's call it, should foster in the student is a strong sense of self and the capacity to take control of his own life. No interference from higher authorities so that all the duties can be performed without any fear. So what ATL is essentially doing is instilling in the student a sense of freedom to function as an independent individual. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with more important topics and previous year questions. Show me some love by subscribing to my channel, and please don't forget to like, comment and share. Until then, take care. Bye.